Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Morning Show. I'm your host, Robert. All right, NASCAR Cup Series WURTH 400 preview from Texas Motor Speedway. Everything is bigger in Texas, including the cautions. The WURTH 400, 400.5 miles, 267 laps, 3 stages, 80, 85, and 102. Fuel window is 62 to 90 laps, or 62 to 69 laps, and you'll have 9 sets of Goodyear tires. All right, this track produces a ton of caution flags. It always has. In the prior to the current Gen 7 car, and a lot of people like the Gen 4 car here. I went back and looked, and the races under the Gen 4 car at Texas Motor Speedway had an average of 9.03 cautions per race. Under the Gen 7 car, there's been an average of 13.7 cautions per race. That includes the 2 for the stages that we didn't have back then. 7 of the last 8 races at Texas have had between 10 and 16 caution flags, except for 2, and 2 races had were 16, and 1 was 24, I believe it was. So yeah, there's been a lot of cautions. This track is tough as it ages. We've noticed even with the O'Reilly race yesterday, especially the first 15 laps, there's like 4 cautions. Slick, especially if you get up high early. I know the tire that NASCAR Goodyear is bringing is on the left side is the 5284 is the code. It was ran at Darlington August of 25 and then Indy last year. The right sides are the same tires they ran at Vegas this year and at Darlington this year. Code is 5290. So the teams have plenty of experience with these tires and even with this combination of tire as well from Vegas this year. NASCAR is a Goodyear working with NASCAR, and the teams have gone, in my opinion, a great length to make these tires wear out. The problem is we have a lot of people that go on social media when there are tire issues, and they're really not tires. When there are issues with tires, they go on social media and blame the tires. Tire issues once again, here we go, when they have blowouts and stuff. It's not a tire issue. It's a team getting aggressive with the air pressure issue. The reason I bring that up is when you get the negativity about Goodyear like that in race tires, that translates to the street tires, and that causes a problem with their business model, which then in turn causes a problem. They're not going to make tires wear out. They're going to make tires last forever on the racing side. There's a balance there. You know, when you price tires, people are brand loyal, or they look at price. I, for one, look at price. So some people are just brand loyal, so you kind of got to balance that. You don't want people going, oh, Goodyear's, I'm not buying those, they blow out, where race tires are completely different than the street tire. Anyway, moving on. So this year, race 11, I am 7-3 on my Cup Series picks, which with Truck Series on 4-3, O'Reilly Series 8-4, and then IndyCar 4-1. 2 first-time winners so far in 2026, Ty Gibbs at Bristol, and then Carson Hosbart Talladega. Both of those are my picks. I am 23-11 all total in my race picks in 2026, which is a 67.8%. So I'm pretty happy with that, picking Carson Hosbart last week. That was pretty cool for his first career win. I don't think we're going to get a first career win today for anybody. The last 3 races at Texas Motor Speedway, the winner qualified 18th, 24th, and 27th. We've only had 5 pole winners win at Texas in the 45 previous races. Carson actually won the pole last year at Texas, which is his first career pole. Obviously, he didn't win. So yeah, if you look at the lineup from qualifying, you got Spire Motorsports on the front row, Carson Hosbart and Daniel Suarez, followed by the Ford of Chris Buescher, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch, great qualifying run, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, and Ty Gibbs rounding out the top 10. Some outliers down below. Kyle Larson 11th, which is kind of low for him. Even all the Hendrick cars are right there because Bowman is 9th, Larson 11th, Elliott 14th, and Byron 15th. Connor Zellage, great qualifying run in 12th for that rookie. Corey Heim qualified 7th. One of 12, I believe, starts in 23-11, number 67. And just go down, Shane McGivern in 30th. This is a tough oval track. He's still learning. Bubba obviously spun in practice, backed into the wall. He had a top 5 practice run when that happened, I believe. See if I can find the practice speeds here. Yeah, he was 5th in practice when that happened. So his practice time was 28.711. See, if he would have qualified at that practice, everybody beat their practice time. He'd been in the 30s, but yeah, even William Byron qualified at 28.5, and he ended up, or practiced at 28.5, ended up qualifying at 28.4. So Bubba could have picked a couple of seconds up in practice. He'd been right around 15 to 20, probably based on that speed off the truck. Hopefully, if that is a full backup car, hopefully it's got some speed coming from the back like that. Austin Dillon also did not qualify because of an engine issue there, so more trouble for RCR. I know Kyle qualified 6th, but I don't know if the new crew chief is actually going to make that big a difference, to be honest with you. I just don't know what they're going to do there in RCR. I mean, like I said before, my prediction right now, early season for next year, would be Kyle Busch going to Spire Motorsports in the number 71, and then Michael McDowell going to RCR and teaming with either probably Austin Hill and Jesse Love going over to the 3rd team for Legacy Motor Club is one of the rumors. Or maybe they move Jesse up and leave Austin in the O'Reilly series and pair him with Michael McDowell if Austin Dillon does retire, go part-time in the Cup Series. But we'll see what happens there. But right now, RCR is definitely struggling. All right. In the 26 races in the Gen 7 car at these mile and a halves, I'm talking about the Vegas, Texas, Charlotte, Kansas, the quote cookie cutter mile and a halves. We'll add Chicagoland to that in a few weeks. But in those races in this car, 26 of them, William Byron average finished 9.65 with 2 wins. Kyle Larson 10.52 with 4 wins. Ross Chastain 10.76 with 2 wins. Now remember, Ross did most of his stuff in the first 2 years of this card, not the last 2 years. Denny Hamlin 11.73 with 4 wins. Seabell 12.46 with a win. Tyler Reddick 13.53 and 3 wins. Joe Logano 14.19 with 3 wins. Alex Bowman 14.6 and a win. Chase Elliott 14.64 and 2 wins. And then Brad Keselowski 15.15. Now what I've done here is I broke it down from all the races, so 26 of them, in the last couple of years, because as we've progressed with this car, just like any generation of car, teams have gotten better and teams have gotten worse. Just like I know a lot of people especially on social media, refer back to that Gen 4 car. The Gen 4 car ran from 1992 through 2006. That is unfortunately the car that we lost Dale Earnhardt, and we lost a lot of drivers there in the late 90s. I know safety came a long way toward the end with the Hans device, the soft walls and all that stuff. We haven't lost a driver since, thank God. But a lot of people like that Gen 4 car. Now remember, these chassis, the Gen 4 chassis, the Gen 7 chassis, that's not the body. The body comes from the manufacturer. So when the manufacturers change their street body, that changes the body in NASCAR. I know a lot of people have talked about this Monte Carlo, or the whatever the Chevrolet is now, the Hace XXR or whatever it is. Anyway, the Chevrolet body Camaro. Camaro's not made anymore. How can they race it in Cup racing? If you go look up, you can find it online. NASCAR rule is when a model is discontinued, 3 seasons after it's discontinued, they can still run it. The last Camaro came up the factory February of 24, I think it was. It was in 2024. So based on the rules, the 2024 model year, 25, 26, and 27, they can still run it. By 2028, they have to have a new model. Yes, they redesigned the body, but that is part of that as well. They can make tweaks to it. They can redo things. But they can run that model for 3 seasons after. So there is a new Camaro coming out. I believe it's in 27 or 28, which I think it's 28 maybe, which will follow that process. But so 26, 25, 26, and 27, they can still run the Camaro, and then the new model has to come out by 2028, which by then we'll have Dodge in it as well, I believe. So if you look at just the last couple of years, so take those first 2 years of the Gen 7 off, 22 and 23, and look since then. Seabell, 9.07 with a win on the intermediate tracks. So he went from 12.46 to 9.07. So you see they've gotten better. Kyle Larson got better as well, 9.84 with 3 wins. Chase Elliott got better, 10.07 with 2 wins. William Byron got actually a little bit worse, 10.21. Ross Chastain really went down, 12.24 with 2 wins. Denny Hamlin, 13.35. Chase Briscoe, 13.71. Now, Chase Briscoe got better on these tracks, but he's also now with Joe Gibbs Racing, not Stewart-Haas. Joey Logano, 14.07. He stayed about the same. Brett Keselowski, 14.35. And Chris Buescher, 14.42. Now, if you look at the last 2 seasons, look at 25 and 26. So the 6 races last year, the 2 races this year. Seabell continued that progression of getting better, 7.62. Kyle Larson, 8.5 with a win. Chase Briscoe, 8.75. Chase Elliott, 9.5 with a win. William Byron, 12.25. Ross Chastain stayed about the same, 12.87 with a win. He won the 600 last year. Chris Buescher, 13.0. Ryan Preece, 13.12. Corey Heim, he's on this list. He had 2 starts with the Gen 7 car in these tracks. 14.0 average finish. Joey Logano, 14.25 and a win. Now, just this year, the 2 races this year, Denny Hamlin, 2.5 and a win. This is Kansas and Vegas, so it's actually the same tire, so we talked about that earlier. Larson, 4.5. Chase Elliott, 5.0. William Byron, 5.0. So we know Denny Hamlin, the Hendrick guys, they're all going to run well here. Tyler Reddick, 7.0 and a win. We know he can win here. Ty Gibbs, 7.0. Bubba Wallace, 7.0. I know he's had some bad races here recently with Talladega, with Martinsville. Martinsville was his own doing. Talladega wasn't his doing, and some of the other stuff wasn't his doing. I know people want to blame him for Talladega, but that's just Talladega being Talladega. Chris Buescher, 8.0, and Brett Keselowski, 8.0. Now, let's drill down a little bit to just Texas Motor Speedway. We've had 4 races in the Gen 7 era. William Byron, 6.0, average finish with a win. Daniel Suarez, 8.75. That backs with him on the outside of the front row. Maybe that 7 car gets in victory lane. Get Spire back-to-back. Wouldn't that be absolutely amazing? Joey Logano, 8.75 and a win. Brett Keselowski, 11.25. Chase Briscoe, 11.75. Austin Dillon, 12.25. In those 4 races, maybe this is that where RCR has a breakout race here. Maybe both cars get in the top 10 this week. Ross Chastain, 12.25. Tyler Reddick, 12.75 and a win. Riley Herbst, 2 starts at Texas in the Gen 7 car. 14.0 average finish. Chase Elliott, 15.0 with a win. Now, one stat that I like to look at is average winning position. So we're just going to look at Texas. Those 4 races. Kyle Larson, 9.0. Tyler Reddick, 9.25. William Byron, 9.64. Now, what this does, if you're averaging a 9th place throughout the whole race, you're getting stage points, you're getting big points at the end, you're up front, you're got a chance to make it to the front. Ross Chastain, 11.91. Ryan Blaney, 13.27. Chase Elliott, 13.77. Chris Buescher, 13.78. Eric Jones, 13.86. Now, somebody like an Eric Jones, he runs well. He can be in the top 15 most of the day, but unfortunately have a problem late and get pushed back. Denny Hamlin, 14.49, and Michael McDowell, 14.56. All right, we are 10 races done in the season. We have 16 races to go until the chase begins, and then 10-race chase. I'm predicting right now we have a champion win this with a race left. We will clinch the Cup Series champion at Martinsville this year, not at Homestead. Tyler Reddick right now with 5 wins. 110-point lead over Denny Hamlin, who's got to win. 140-point lead over Ryan Blaney, who's got to win. Chase Elliott has got to win, minus 144. Ty Gibbs in 5th with a win, minus 162. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You got Kyle Larson, minus 169. Chris Buescher, minus 175. Hurricane Hocevar, Carson Hocevar with a win, minus 192. Seabell, minus 194. They're all just like packed together there. Then you got Brett Keselowski currently in 10th, plus 57 to the cut line. You got William Byron plus 54, Bubba Wallace plus 50, Byron's plus 55, Bubba's plus 54. Bubba's season, he went from 2nd in points. He dropped to, I think it was 8th after a problem. I think it was Darlington, wherever he had a problem at early. Then he had the Martinsville issue, and then he got back up to 8th. Then he dropped down because of Talladega. So it's like he's been yo-yoing here lately. Bubba Wallace, again, 12th in points, minus 54. Ryan Preece, 13th, minus 47. Daniel Suarez, 14th in points, minus 13. So right now, 2 Spire cars are in the top 16 in points. Got Joey Logano, plus 12. Austin Cindric, plus 4. Chase Briscoe, minus 4. Ross Chastain, minus 21. Shane Van Gisbergen, minus 31. We got some road courses coming up. So that should help him. The fact he's able to maintain that level, currently 19th in points, with a lot of these ovals, I had some issues on ovals, so that's going to be looking good for him when we get to some of the road courses later. Zane Smith, minus 43. AJ Allmendinger, minus 43. I almost say that's awesome for Colic Racing, sitting there 21st in points. 43 points out of the chase, yes, but they have no manufacturer support. They have no stem. They are just behind the 8 ball right now in the Cup Series because they are building that RAM program, and I know rumor is Dodge is coming. They wouldn't do the RAM program if they weren't planning on doing Cup and stuff. And I know it sucks for them, but it's kind of cool to see he's had some good runs, and what they're able to do without that support. Imagine what they're going to do when they get that support and have it. You know, I know there's talk of 2027, 2028 when Dodge comes in. I think it would be aggressive to do 27, but I definitely would see 28. Now, my thoughts, and I've said this before, I think Rick Ware will sell their 51 charter to RFK for the 60. Rick Ware Racing will announce they go to Dodge. NASCAR said there's 4 new OEM charters out there. 3 of those will go to Rick Ware Racing, and then 1 will go to Colic. Dodge will come in either 27 or 28 with 2 3-car teams, or 3 charter teams, factory support those 6 cars, and each will probably produce a 4th car for some one-off races that have 8. Just like when Toyota came in, they kind of did this thing, something similar, but they started with Joe Gibbs and then added 2311. So, but I think that's going to definitely help AJ Allmendinger and kind of help build the program. Like he's going to run the Watkins Glen truck race, which is going to have Shane Van Gisbergen, AJ Allmendinger, kind of Zillage in a truck, and I'm hoping Corey Himes in that race. And yeah, that could be a fun road course race with the trucks. Ty Gillen, minus 45. Michael McDowell, minus 47. Austin Dillon, minus 63. Ricky Stenhouse, minus 63. Eric Jones, minus 63. Kyle Busch, minus 64. Everyone else is more than a race out. 36th in points right now is Alex Bowman, minus 146. So he has to make up 146 points in order to make the chase. I think it's happening this year. Cody Ware is actually 5 points more than Alex Bowman right now. So yeah, Connor Zillage is 33rd in points, minus 123. So, all right, NASCAR Fantasy Live. Went through this a couple times, decide who my picks are going to be. I'm going to play William Byron this week, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin. Going to put a seatbelt in the garage. My 4 picks to win the 2026 WURTH 400 from Texas Motor Speedway. William Byron, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson. Can't go wrong with those guys. No matter what, Bubba's going to win, but I don't pick him, but that's cool if he does. But yeah, I think Henry Motorsports, they run well here. I think they're going to be able to figure something out, get up front. Otherwise, Tyler Reddick, maybe a 6th win in 11 races, and then Denny Hamlin get a 2nd win of the year, which would be cool. It'd be 62 for his career. He's right now 2 short of Kyle Busch. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Maybe Spire wins again. Maybe Hurricane gets another win. But as always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a 50-day Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.